What's up guys, MikeCoco back here bringing you guys the floor 18 Abyssal Inferno. I think I finally found the strategy to clear this floor. But before I get into it, I'm going to talk about the gear that I'm running in case you want to run this setup. So I am running, well, I'll talk about the formation a little bit after, but I'm running DQK, King Pharaohs, Claire, and the last one is Remi. So, and of course Swordmane. So Swordmane pretty much is standard myth gear to maximize his shield, because his shield scales off of his attack, so therefore the mythic set will increase his attack, which will also uh, increase his shield. And I gave him a Absorb Fury gem, and it's actually quite useful, I would say. So try to get this gem. It's pretty good, and yeah, it's actually kind of useful in this setup. We also have Remi. Remi's running typical S2 R2, nothing too special here, no like extremely weird stuff except for this lucky pull. I just took this off of the Christine that I used in Explore, floor 7. So Remi's there, and we also have Claire. Again, I took off PA's ring, put it on her, and the typical gun that I haven't touched in like a long time. Again, S2 R2, and for the melee heroes we have King Pharaohs. I gave him the costume, so he has the healing debuff, and also he applies the crit buff. And nothing too special here except for the ring. It's slightly higher than normal. It's at 23, but it doesn't matter too much because his damage is really low. He's still using a really garbage weapon. The ring is just there for the set bonus. So, and lastly we have DQK. I switched off all the gear from my Michael and put it onto DQK, therefore maximizing her what's it called, her delayed dot, just now hitting 60 million. So going into the formation, the reason why, as you see, I have Remi and DQK now. The reason why I have these two is because Remi is really important for floor 18. I find it very difficult to clear this floor without her at this point, because we don't have mythic skills on our mains yet, which means that we aren't able to learn the cross immunity skill like the skill on Romulus, I believe. That skill is really important, and because we don't have that feature yet in the game, it's really difficult to progress without Remi. And she also has the ability to remove the cleanse on Dimitra, so she essentially provides 3 support areas in one hero, which is really important because in Abyssal Inferno you're limited to 5 heroes, and that means you have to be able to cover all the areas of the specific boss. And in this case, Remi will be able to cover the cleansing property and the dispelling property. That way we don't need to bring in another dispeller to remove the cleanse so that the healing debuff will apply. And that's why King Pharaohs is here. He's there for the healing debuff. Claire is there to start with Fury. I don't really use her for damage too much. Start with Fury and pretty much normal attack to gain Fury. The main hitters are essentially just DQK and maybe Swordmane, depending on if he crits or not. And yeah, DQK has the delayed dot, which deals quite a bit of damage. And yeah, so going over this floor, the main idea is that Dimitra provides, or not provides, Dimitra casts a entire board silence, which is why you need the cleanse. And then on the second turn she applies a cleanse, or one of the mobs apply cleanse, so that means you need to dispel that cleanse, otherwise your healing debuffs will not stick, which is quite annoying. But I mean, it's kind of typical now for this floor. So again, as usual, you want to get rid of the mobs because the mobs deal more damage than the actual boss herself, and you'll see why later. That's why I have an Absorb Fury gem on Swordmane. And yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of these 2 mobs here, and then normal attack with these 2. Because Remi has a guaranteed immunity, there's no real need to cast your skill right now, so just gonna rack up some Fury. The main advantage to King Pharaohs' weapon is that even though it has very low damage, I managed to get a lucky pull and get a rank 9 active, or level 9 active, which means I procs quite often, so I can gain a little bit more Fury that way, but it shouldn't matter too much for this build. So obviously on the first turn you need to have the shield up, and in this case I was unlucky. They critted Claire and also King Pharaoh, so he kind of lost there. He does have the Phoenix skill, which allows him to survive a few more turns, which is really crucial because without the healing debuff, Dimitri will pretty much heal back all the damage that you dealt. So it's pretty important. I would say having him as myth is fairly useful, which is another reason why I picked him instead of Vlad. So in the ideal situation, the first turn you'll just get a board silence and you won't take that much damage. Remi can then handle the rest of it. So alright, a little bit unlucky this time. This thing didn't die. The mobs actually are, like, they hit really hard, so you have to make sure you kill them. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun, and you're not going to be in for a good time. So, get rid of all the mobs, and then essentially wait. There's not much you can do here at this point. Just have to hope that it doesn't break through the shield. And this time, pretty lucky, it doesn't break through the shield. So because everyone is like silenced or stunned, I'm gonna move Claire here so we can cast the dispel to, or not dispel, cleanse, so everybody can be cleansed. And then I'm going to apply the healing debuff because now the cleanse is gone. The healing debuff will now stick. I'm gonna steal Fury, and I'm probably gonna target that person back there because I want to make sure that the mobs die, and so I want to spread out the damage evenly. And deal some more damage. And now here you can see I don't have enough Fury, but that doesn't matter because once all the mobs are gone, the Mitra doesn't actually hit that hard if you're running S2 R2. So I'm just gonna face tank, eat the silences, and because I have the cleanse up here, I really don't have to worry. See how little damage that caused? Like, it really doesn't matter that much, and you can pretty much face tank for the first few turns. After a while, when you notice that you're taking more damage, that's when you need to start bringing shield back into the story. But because Swordmane has the absorb Fury skill, by the time that you'll need a shield, you're gonna have enough Fury for that. So just the usual. Because I just applied the healing debuff last turn, I don't need to reapply it this turn, so I'm just gonna use a normal attack. And again, I'm not gonna use the Swordmane to shield because I'm lowering my entire Fury I don't know, consumption, or I don't know what to call it actually. But yeah, that's essentially what you want to do, and just pretty much rinse and repeat. Just face tank for a bit. It's still not hitting that hard. Like, Claire only lost a little bit of HP there, which is really not that bad. Now this turn, you can see that there's no crit buff on King Pharaoh anymore, which is a good indicator that the healing debuff will be removed the next turn, so you need to reapply it. And pretty much just rinse and repeat. There's not much that's really difficult with this floor if you do it like this. Now maybe on the next turn I might have to start shielding. It depends on how much damage we take. Actually, on the next turn it looks like we can still take a few more hits, so I'm gonna see if I can face tank a little bit longer. And ideally you want to use Claire last because you can gain more Fury that way. Because the amount of Fury you steal is proportional to how much Fury the boss has, and if you attack the boss early, then you give the boss more Fury because as you take hits, you also gain Fury. So that way you want to wait until the end. Okay, so now you can see there, Claire almost died, so I'm gonna put her back into this formation. I'm gonna start shielding now, and which is perfect because I have max Fury. And apply the healing debuff. Now Remi just used her skill, so there's no need to apply her skill again. Claire, not going to use her skill because I'm low on Fury, and on single targets her Fury steal is really, really bad. So highly advised to not use it. Okay, and now at this point Claire can die, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to move her back here. And let's see, what should I do? Healing debuff was just applied, so I can normal attack. That's good. And I'm gonna reapply DQK skill. Now I have a choice here. I could either steal Fury with Claire, or I can shield with Swordmane. Now, because Remi is still immune at this point, I think it's fine if I leave her, or leave everyone unstunned, or like leave everyone cleansed like this. So actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm pretty sure the shield will still be able to hold up. Uh, Oftentimes you can get the shield up for the first turn, wait for the second turn, and Demetra still won't break it. Usually. Now here, yeah, as soon as I say that, of course, she would break it. But we only have 1 bar left, and I'm pretty sure when we reapply the healing, or not the healing debuff, we reapply the shield, uh, everything should be good to go. And yeah, there we go. So that's floor 18. Whether or not this is optimal, I have no idea yet. I actually did try this without Remi and TQK, but it's extremely difficult because you're not allowed to bring spears in here, and my build is completely spear based. But I feel like at this point Remi and TQK, for floor 18 at least, are extremely important because TQK does deal pretty decent damage if you combine the damage she deals normally with her skill and then the delayed dot. Those two combine pretty well. And Remi pretty much tackles multiple things at once. The only thing I would probably change would be to use Husky instead of Claire, but he still hasn't shown up in my chrono yet, so can't really do much there. But yeah, that's floor 18. So I'll see you guys in the next video for floor 19. Peace.